Okay.
It's like few minutes to
Ekhamiko
settle down and let others to join. Good evening, Karan.
उठाई दे
Evening
तो
में lunch.
फड़फड़ाई मनी को थे वो मनीष को दे दो ना मनीष को दे दो
Hello? Rudra Narayan. I have never seen that name in the class. Rudra Narayan, have you joined? Hello. Rudra Narayan. अच्छा हम खाएंगे ले तब बढ़ला इसमें मामा सब्जी मत डालो घरे का बोले आलू तो कैसे ना डालो हां So what where do we passport JS? Passport JS? I'm not sure. Let me check. Authenticate is another authentication middleware. Yeah. Just like we have okay. So what you can do is what you can do is issue with passport.js is, have you seen all these websites where there are ways of logging in using Google or Facebook or something like that? Have you seen that, Ekta? Log in with Facebook, log in with YouTube account. So you can use passport.js to build those features up. Okay, so there will be a middleware layer. Whenever a request come to a page, it will go through that layer. It will go to Facebook, checks whether the token is correct, and then you can sign it. Okay. So that's my hunch about passport.js. If you understand the overall framework, then these small pockets will be very easy to fit in. It will not take much time to fit these small apps and small libraries. Okay. Is it related to single sign-on? Yes, it is. It is just that. So whenever you do sign in using Google, you need self passport just here's how it works. Okay, Karan. Suppose I go to a website and the website says you can log in using Google. Okay. Now what will happen? A user will click on this link and then a request will go to Google. Google will send the username and password or token for that user, and then you are going to authenticate that user. So this process will happen like this. First, the request will come to a request will come to a point, API gateway or access point. Access point, I'll call it access point. Request will come to access point. This access point will be connected to a router that will send it to a middleware. In a middleware, we'll have a passport. We'll have a passport call. This will be our middleware. This middleware is going to call whatever service. So passport.connect, and this is going to connect to say Google. Then whatever input you have sent will be sent to Google. Google will return the data, and then once Google returns you the data, so this will return some data. That data is further passed down to sign-in API, sign-in controller. Okay. This data will contain something like username and something like ID or something. Maybe username and ID. And now it will go to sign in, and sign in will return a token that can be used to log in into the website. Okay? Is the flow clear? Yeah. Here Google Authentication acts as a middleware for new sign in. Yeah, sign in and sign up. That is correct. Yes, sure. That is true. So you might have seen that, or you might have seen this pattern getting followed at multiple places. Suppose you have a payment that you have to do with. Suppose this probably will not use Passport.js, but I'll just explain what is happening here using another example. Suppose you are making a payment on a website using Google Pay. Now what will happen? You will say, I will pay using Google Pay. It will go to a page, and that page will keep on loading. It will keep on buffering. And then you go to your Google Pay app and pay this amount, and suddenly this page goes back to your bank account and say that you have completed the transaction. This typically happens when you go to a website so suppose you go to Swiggy and start paying with Google Pay. So there will be a loading page, and then you go back. So what is happening here is there is a middleware call. Middleware is calling Google, and once middleware returns, the controller says, okay, the payment is done, and it returns. Okay? So that's another way where middlewares can come in handy. Yasho, does that answer your question? Yashovardhan? Yashovardhan, is your complete name Yashovardhan Singh? Okay, sorry, I know some Yashovardhan other than you, so authentication only. Okay. Then no need to write controller for sign in and sign out. You still might have to write Likit. You still might have to write depending on whether you are allowing email address sign in and sign up. And you also have to send a token, the JWT token. You cannot send the JWT token from middleware. Does that make sense? You'll have to fetch the token and send it back. So you still need a controller. But in middleware, you can do a lot of heavy lifting. Basically, instead of previously in middleware, you are checking. In the middleware, you can do some heavy lifting. That's all. Previously, we were checking in the controller what was the password. We are matching the password. This time, we are checking with the service in the middleware. Anyways, now. So what is the agenda for today's class? There is something left from the previous class. I want to complete that part. And if time permits, I'm going to start talking about the notification service that we are going to build. But before that, I want to complete the ticket update part. Okay. Ticket controller, I have written ticket update, ticket create. I have to get all tickets and get one ticket is one. Yeah. I'm going to share the screen. Just give me a few minutes. Let me check what is the time. Yeah, time is good. There was one uncle of mine, or maybe I don't know whether he was an uncle or he was just somebody in my colony. And he was typically older than me, a lot older than me. And whenever I ask him what is the time, he said time is very bad. and then he'll chuckle about it. Time is very bad. Sometimes I ask him what is the time, and he says it is the exactly same what it was 24 hours back. He will never give me the time. I have, and I was a kid, um, and it used to make me very angry because every time I ask him about time, he gives me all sorts of random answers. Time is same as it was one day back. It is same as what it was one day back. It is very bad right now. You see how time is so bad these days. All those kind of answers. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to discuss controller. I don't want to share this one. I think yeah, this is the one. Let me close this. But sir, you still remember him, so that's a good. That actually makes sense, Arjun. I don't know why that guy, why I got reminded of him now. Anyways, so get all tickets. Who can get all the tickets? Who can get all the tickets? Admin can get all the tickets. Who else can get all the tickets? User can get all the tickets. Who else can get all the tickets? Engineers can get all the tickets. So this single API should serve. You're not going to write three different API points for engineer, customer, and customer, and admin. You have to write it in one go. You have to write it in one go. Otherwise, it will not work. Just make a new folder before making. Oh, that's so sweet of you, Nilanjan. Thanks a lot. I just almost forgot about that. Nilanjan, Nilanjan is the awesome person who reminds me about this. Just give me one minute. I'm not sharing the. I'm not spending time on sharing the window right now. I'm sharing the code window for a few minutes. I'm going to make the changes and then start sharing. Okay. So CRM app, folder number 9. Let me copy this and let me paste it. I typically like to share the whole screen. I don't like to share. Somehow I prefer to share the whole screen. I don't have anything to hide. Are you able to see the folder that is getting copied? Okay. So now folder will get copied. And he'll call it 10. Let's write 10. Building the CRM app. Ticket manipulation. Continue. I'll just write ticket manipulation continued. If there is if I go ahead and write the notification service also today, I'm going to create another folder for it. So I'm not going to corrupt this folder. Today's date is 28th of December, I guess, 2022. And click enter. Okay. So far, so good. Now I go to CRM app, and I don't want to okay, there's one more step I have to remember, which is to commit all the changes before moving forward. So I come here and I open, just give me 1 second, I open GitHub, and inside GitHub I can just write started building get all. Back to the main. By the way, here's a question that I just want to know. I don't know what is the answer to it, so frankly I don't get feedback on that. But how many of you are actually going ahead and seeing this repo all the time, like trying to build from the repo and spending time,
करना बात कर
spending time looking at the code? Yeah,
तो इंतजार कर दो
that's impressive. Many of you are actually looking at the code, which is great. That's the best way to learn. So thanks a lot. I practice with Postman. That is so nice of you, Hariharan. I hope you all are. I can surely tell you that I'm learning as much as you are learning. So Ekta even tried the remaining two controllers. That's so nice of you. I'm learning as much as you guys are learning and girls are learning. So yeah, I'm making the app with fine tuning. Oh, nice, London. That's very good. Yeah, I wish there were some review sessions where I could have discussed your fine tunings and your updates on the app. And this is a very good time. Okay, Karan, that's good. What do you do, Karan? Where do you, I think you have told me once, but I forget. So can you just tell me where do you work and what is your profile? I just keep on forgetting. I think I have heard once you have said something, but I forget. Junior engineer at UPPCL. Okay. And what is the technology you work on? SAP. Oh, you're a SAP developer. Is that correct? ERP SAP. ERP is for ERP is for the database. Is it for the database? I'm just making a guess. Employee resource planning, I think. Oh. Okay. Okay. I'm enterprise resource planning. I'm not sure about ERP SAP. But anyways, so try to see. Have you ever seen any semblance with this code into what you are doing in your job? So do you also code up these kind of systems? That will be interesting. So one thing some of you can try out is go back to your job, wherever you are. If you are working as a developer, oh, okay, you're not into coding. Then it might not work. So, but those of you who are into coding, is there somebody who is coding right now, like who is in a coding job right now? Okay, I'm a bit into front end. Deepak, yes, me, sir. I'm DB side. Okay, wherever you're coding, yes, wherever you're coding, Babu, please try to come on time. I think you had an office, so I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. Try to come on time, but if the office is late, so that's completely fine. I've not discussed anything that you might have missed, so. Oh, you are mechanical engineer. Ekta is plain JavaScript. So whatever company you are doing, even if your code base is not, sometimes you have access to other code bases in the company. So one exercise you can do is you can read up related code bases in your company. And that is going to do two things. One, you will, of course, enjoy putting the code base. Yes. Yeah, that is great, Karan. So one way is to just putting a new code base into the framework that you have learned, trying to fit the code base into the framework that you have learned and trying to see how it is working. And the second thing that it will do is it will make you a better employee because now you know a larger amount of code base. Okay. Whatever code base you are running or whatever code base you are responsible for in your job, try to see a pattern or a framework that is being used there and try to see how each and every piece fits into the framework. Typically, the senior engineers will help you a lot. Yeah. The senior engineers in your company can help you a lot. You can ask them for some design documents and see the key design structure of your code base, and then you can figure it out faster. Okay, so make sure you spend some time. And those of you who are not actually working as a developer, try to see some good open source libraries which are following the same structure. You can see open source projects following MVC. Let me see. Node open source node projects, Node.js projects. Let's see. Pros and cons, reasons for Node, documentation. What is this? Yeah, they have some. Sheets.js is following this. You can check out Sheets.js. You can check out CryptoEscape. Those of you who are into cryptocurrency, you can check out this one. And there's PDF Kit. There will be a bunch of them. Okay. So if you just Google about it, you should be able to see. ESLint is also something which is built by MIT, and all these Axiom is most popular GitHub that uses Node. Promise should be declined. It can help you do all sorts of things. So yeah. Anyways, you can check out these codes. You can check out these code bases. Whenever I go to new companies, like I'm starting it again. Yes. Some company take interview for backend, but they will give us front end work as well. Yeah, that is true. That is a sad part. I'm going to paste the link. I'm not sure about this link, so don't. But I think this is a good idea. Again, you know how how irresponsible I am sometimes. But here is a promise that I want to make. Maybe I'll be able to keep it up in few weeks. I'll do some good open source projects that you can read up on. Okay, maybe you can find that is best. If you can find some projects and send me out, that's great. But I'll try to compile a list of projects that you can read up on your own and try to fit this MVC pattern on top of them. Does that sound like a good idea? I think that can be. Yeah, how to make contribution? That is the best. You just look at the pull request and try to contact anytime you want to. Yeah. System design I will not recommend right now. A system design is something I will not recommend right now for the basic reason that you should typically look at it after few years of job, like 1 or 2 years. You should just work on the low levels, and maybe after that it's a good idea. Yeah. But there are some courses on educative you can take, and they are very nice. Okay. Yeah. And typically system design is something that you are going to learn by doing. I mean, you have to do it in a job, and because you have to work on a small scale system, and then you can go. Otherwise, you will have a bunch of concepts that will not fit together. Okay. Let me look at this question, who has raised this question? This is raised by Suraj. Let me see. I want to zoom. Where is the zoom button? Yeah, I increase the zoom size. Error in ticket create. How do I move this like this? Some error happen creating ticket read property null. Ticket created. Reading ticket created. Should not be easy. Oh, okay. So Suraj, you have not created the ticket created field in the user model. Suraj, you have to update your user model. Have you updated the user model, Suraj? Do you know what I mean? What I'm saying? Okay, so I'll explain. This is how you can quickly catch error. I have not seen Suraj code, but just like a fortune teller, I can directly say that he has done this error. So you go to this user model, okay? Sorry, ticket model, and here there is something called as where is that? No, not ticket. User model. In user model, you go and create these two fields: ticket created, ticket created, and tickets assigned. In this ticket created, you will have a list of tickets that you have created, and in tickets assigned, you will have a list of tickets that are assigned to you. Does that make sense, Suraj? That's what you need to do. You have to write these 4 lines. Okay, so Suraj, what I have updated the user model to contain these 2 things as well. Okay, 2 list of object IDs. Okay, these objects ID are the object ID of tickets which are going. So for engineer, for a customer, this will contain all the tickets. This will contain the ID of all the tickets that are created by that customer. Reference ticket means it will refer to the ticket model. That is correct, Babu. Yes. But how to create an object? No. You don't have to create an object. Yeah, I have pushed these changes to GitHub. You can check it out in the user model. You can check it out in the chapter 9, folder 9. Yeah. Reference is for association. Reference is just for association. It's you don't have to worry about it. I mean, it's not like a foreign key. So it typically does not checks the foreign key. Okay. No, you don't need to write. Yeah, but it is a good idea to write it so that people remember. You have some way of remembering what is going on. I don't think it is coding it up in the backend, but I'm not sure about that also. Anyways, so you have to write these 2 lines and then it will work. Try it out, Suraj. Going back to ticket controller. So here is the prompt. So now let me see Babu Reddy. I'm not talked to Babu. Do you want to? No. Likit has a question. We have created an array of those, but how to create an object? Likit, you don't have to create an object. You just have to write the ID of that object. Look here. When I'm creating a ticket, I'm pushing the ticket ID into the created list, and that's all I'm doing. Okay, Likit? If we want to save a key value, then we need an object. We don't need an object. The object is already there. The ticket object is already there. We are creating the ticket object here. When we create the ticket, we create the ticket object. We are using this ticket object to put it into the ticket model. Once we put it in the model, we get the ticket ID and we pass it to the ticket created. Does that make sense? Can you confirm? Yeah. Yeah, that is correct, Nilanjan. Okay, since you are asking so many questions, I would actually go and check the reference. Just give me 1 second. Ref in Mongoose. Ref in Mongoose schema. What does that do? Replace working. No, where is the schema? Graph event. Okay, so start. You can do so by using population. No, not that one. I just want to know what graph is doing. So I'll just go to query projection. Relate. Okay. So there are some extra functionalities like populate that you can use with RAF. So basically, where the ticket ID is storing as. Are you pushing it? Yes, I am pushing it in the create ticket. So in create ticket, I first create a ticket object. I find the engineer whom I want to assign the ticket. Then what I'm going to do is for that engineer, I'm going to push the ticket ID into ticket assigned, and the user who has created the ticket, I'm going to push it as ticket created. These 4 lines, line number 29 to 33, are doing what I am saying. Does that make sense, Ankit? This ticket underscore ID, Ankit? Can you share GitHub repo? Yes, I can share. But I would love if some of you can just remember. You lost the GitHub repo or something? I'm going to share it right now. Here's the GitHub repo. Let me pin it. Okay. Now let's go back. Can you share the GitHub repo? .save is saving ticket to DB. It is not saving the ticket to DB. It is saving the user data to DB. And ticket is, this is saving the user model. It is updating the user model and saving it, Nilanjan. Okay. This method can be used to make cards for every user in e-commerce app. That is true. Yes, that can be done. Can we use JWT's same token in different multiple apps to authorize users? Just give me 1 second to think about that. Yes, you can use that, Mahendra, but you will have to make sure that this secret key that is shared across the apps. There is something called as config, and this secret key that you are using in the JWT token, you are using the same secret key across all those apps. Okay, Mahendra? So you cannot use different secret keys, otherwise it will not work. Yeah. When I answer question like this with confidence and certainty, I feel so happy. Yeah. Anyways. So we are creating apps. Save and exit. Save is used when you save on the model. I mean, they do the same thing, but they're different in the sense that you apply save on the object, whereas save you apply on the object by updating it, and exec you apply when you do find one and update. Okay. In exec you have to send the update query as well, or update object as well. So yeah, save does it using the code using the JavaScript code. You can do it in save, and what exec do is exec uses almost like a mongoose code, like it uses the function call itself. I think I have somewhere update exec function. Okay, we can exec only for update, find one update. Yeah, you can. Yeah, that is true. We can also do it for find, but that's not super cool. Exec is basically executing the promise. So even when you write await, it will do the same thing. Do you know any site to apply for backend role apart from LinkedIn? Ankit, backend role. What sites do I know? There is something called Hired. Have you heard about Hired.com? You can apply from there also. They Hired.com. Naukri is typically not for developers. Like yeah, you can apply from Naukri, but it's not the most promising jobs. You will not get there. There is a website called as Hired.com. You can check it out. It is good. Yeah. Instead of pushing just like ID, can we push the entire ticket in both places? Would be easier to make sense of it in the database. That is a very good idea, Ekta. I like your idea. And that is, can you tell me what is that pattern called as in database? Suraj, same. Did you save the? You have to insert the object again. You have to insert the object again with the ticket created thing. You cannot use the previous database now. Did not get your question. Did not get your question, sir. I was asking some question. Do you remember the database pattern that I was talking to you about? Yeah, there were two types of database patterns that I was talking about. Object inside an object. Yeah, embedded, and the other one was that is embedded. This what Ekta is saying is actually an embedded pattern, and the other is reference. Yes, and we had a long discussion about both of them. I want to chat with Babu Reddy for a few minutes. I hope the class will not mind. Babu Reddy, can you unmute yourself? I want to check up with. I just want to catch up with you for maybe 2 minutes and understand how you are progressing through the class. I hope the class will not mind because I think I have not seen you for a few classes and I just want to know. I'm just a little curious to know what is going on. Hello, Babu.
Hi, sir.
So how is it going? Are you able to follow the class?
Yeah, actually, I am unable to attend for live classes, but I am following recordings every day, sir.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was also guessing. Are you getting any questions during these classes? Are you able to?
I am understanding everything that you are teaching me.
Okay.
Till now, no queries.
Okay. So do you have my mobile number? I think I've shared it with the whole class. Do you
I
also
have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is especially for you. Make sure. It is all. I'm available for all my students. But Babu, since you are attending on recorded lectures, I want to make sure that whenever you have doubt, you just ping me and ask about that. Okay. Don't ever hesitate on that. Okay. And also that will be a good idea to connect with all your classmates once in a while to just chat with them how things. How if you have any doubts from them also. That also helps. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sure, Babu. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you, sir.
Our secret key is same for every admin. Yes, but their passwords are different. Our secret key is same, but their individual passwords are same. Typically, you will have a secret key that only the developers know. Yeah. And sometimes you know what happens. These. Okay, so I'll discuss few things. These secret keys are very important in your companies. When you go and join a company, what if someone shares their key? If someone shares their key, that's a ground for dismissal. It's as bad as the offense as coming to the office drunk. Okay, so I'm not kidding right now. There are few things if you do in your office, you can get fired very easily. First thing is forgetting the password of your laptop and forgetting the password of a system on which you log in all the time. Okay, if you forget the password couple of times, that can be a ground for dismissal because the amount of work the security team has to do for updating the whole system and building it back sometimes is very hard. So that is one. Another thing that you can be easily fired for is sharing your company secrets. Any company secret. It doesn't matter whether it can be used for a hack or not. But if you are found of sharing any company email or anything like that, and companies do monitor these things, that's a serious ground for dismissal. Okay. So never ever be extra cautious with these kind of things. You can, if you mess up some deadlines, if you mess up some project work, that's okay. That's still doable. But if you have bad intent, then yeah. Companies typically don't do case, but yeah, companies typically don't do case, but maximum they do is basically dismiss you. And then they might make your character certificate something like references. You cannot give references from that company, and it just builds a bad breath about it. The world is very small and people come to know about it. So never do anything which is like that. Do we get opportunity to work in foreign? Yes, you can get, Ankit. And this is where, so I've been just give me 1 second. Let me see if I'm on time. Again, I'm going to discuss this thing for a few minutes because I think this is relevant to the class. So this is a small story, but it is from my life. So I will just tell you. There's a company called as ConConnect. ConConnect. Okay. So I'll just go to. There's something called as ConConnect in ConConnect. Okay, this is a company which creates algorithmic trading engine. Okay, so now this is a story that I want to tell you because it's relevant to those of you who are searching for jobs. This is a company which had a lean engine online. What I did was I went to their GitHub and I started posting requests. I went into this pull request things and issues. I went to issues and I started talking to whatever people were there in the company. I started talking, can somebody help me contribute to this app? I want to contribute as a what is it called? As a what are the people who provide as a volunteer? I want to volunteer to contribute this. As not as a developer, just as a volunteer, as a code volunteer. I want to contribute to this and I want to help. And can somebody guide me through the process? And suddenly I got a message from the CEO of the company. He was so happy to see somebody come and contribute to the database. I immediately got a internship in the company. And I was doing some other things back then, so I didn't continue with the internship, but that could have been a very good career by just asking around how to contribute to a code base. So you can just go ahead and check out different whatever suits you. There will be an open source library. You can just commit and tell. You can go to Mongoose. MongoDB is also open source, I guess. Let me check. MongoDB open source. MongoDB GitHub. Is it available on GitHub? Yeah, it's an open source library. Okay, so what you can do is start contributing to MongoDB, and suddenly, if you contribute few times and if you are very chatty on the app, people will come and give you opportunities. And what can be done in this ConConnect? ConConnect is a website which provides a platform for people to run their algorithmic trading strategies. Nilanjan. So it is similar to some of the algorithmic trading platforms that are there in India. It is an online platform and people come and run their strategy. This is basically the engine that supports all those strategies. You have to understand the entire code base first. That is not correct, Abhijit. You just have to understand. Can we show example of how you identified and fixed bugs? I didn't do anything like that, Abhijit. I didn't fix any bug on the code, even for the whole internship itself. I just showed interest that I want to contribute and somebody should mentor me into this. And just that gave me the internship. Can anyone give support to the code develops? Yes, exactly. That's what open source is all about, Nilanjan. It is a code base that has been supported by developers. Okay. So there's I don't know. I'm sorry I'm discussing all these things, but I think they are very important. It is more important than the code itself. So I hope you don't mind me discussing these things. But here's one thing. Yes, Abhijit, you can do that. What I'm saying is, and don't expect money right away. Expect to learn. Okay, go with a learner's mindset and try to contribute to these code bases. Any open source code base, they typically have a program for rewarding the volunteers. And there is a saying that I want to discuss at this point, which is called as which is a principle that you can use generally on in the market. If you become good at something, people will automatically come to pay you, come to pay you to do that. So what does that mean? Let's take an example of a skateboarding. Suppose you want to skateboard, okay? Or you want to run. Or let's take an example of running. And suddenly what happens is you can have two ways of running. You can either say, I don't have shoes, I don't have sponsors, what will I do running and what will I do forward? Or the second way would be just start running. Whatever resources you are, you just start running. And if you become good at running, suddenly you compete in a running marathon, and people will come and recognize you from there. Or suppose you don't even have shoes, so you participate in a marathon and decide to run barefoot, and suddenly there will be a lot of shoe companies which will come and sponsor you for the next marathon. Okay, but so there are two people, one who don't have shoes, but he started running because he thought it's a good idea to run, and people will come suddenly to him to give him shoes, give him responsibility because they see he is working. Whereas the other guy can keep on waiting forever for somebody to come and provide him a sponsorship, but that might not work. Similarly, what I'm saying here is, if you just become good at these kind of things, people will automatically come and give you job once they see your work. The key thing that many of you might be facing right now is how to show your work. So here is another place where you can attack this problem. My whole teaching in this class is not to teach you CRM app building, which is just a small part. I want to teach you how to break into this industry and start working, because I think that is much more important. That is something resonates with many of you. Am I right? Yeah. So I discussed one way where you could have done this by freelancing. This is another way. You can go to open source softwares and start contributing. You are going to learn a lot, and once people see that you can contribute to open source, they will hire you like anything. Companies will get crazy if you just start working like this. Okay? So we can get back. Yes, Nilanjan. I'm sorry, Nilanjan, but I thought. Yeah, that's completely fine. Many people start contributing by just writing some documentation. So you can just start asking what documentation can I write, and that is going to help you. Okay, Nilanjan. Let's get back to the class. I'm sorry for rambling on this, but I thought it is important. Okay, get all tickets. Get all tickets. This function can be called by three people. It can either be called by an admin. It can be called by a. I have contributed open source multiple times. Yeah, it takes a big commitment. But if you can get an internship, it can be a very good opportunity. Yeah. That's nice. Archit, where are you working right now, Archit Singhal? Okay, nice. Yes, that is true. Is this first today starting coding? No, it's not first. I didn't get your question, Babu. Okay. This is the first question. Yeah. Okay. Good, Archit. Okay, let's talk about the get all ticket. Let me write some things here. Versus these are the use cases. Let me write the use cases. First use case is admin, and admin should admin should get the list of all the tickets. I'll just call it list of all tickets. What is cookies and sessions? Cookies are just like this. Cookies are just like this JWT token, you know.
ले लो हमसे 50.
Just like JWT token is coming to you, there can also be other things that you can get from each request
शाम को
and that can help you make some. I mean, it is basically used for tracking, but you can use cookies to track people. Okay.
उठना को तो
Even if I'm working on a website, even if I'm working on a website for thehindu.com, a cookie can be sent to say google.com to inform that I'm looking at some content, and then what will happen, Ankit, is Google will be notified that I'm looking such and such content, and Google can use that on unsuspecting users, okay, to market better. Okay, customer should get the list of all tickets. Should get the tickets. Customer should get all the tickets created by him or her. The third is engineer.
बच्चा है तो मेरा 50 है और 2 दिन में हो
Engineer
जाएगा का एक तारीख को मैं रोटी
should get
खा के बाट
all the tickets.
चलो कुछ दरहड़ पिया वो पूरा
Sign to him or her. Okay. How do you do that? You can just define cons. You can define the query object. Let's keep it empty. And then there will be if first dot query. You are going to send a query. Where else have you used query? You remember? You remember the status? It's not undefined. If query status is not undefined, you can just call it query object dot status equal to request dot query dot status. Yes, Likit is correct. So when we were fetching users, we were using query in request. I have discussed the difference between query and parent, so I'm not going to discuss it again for the sake of time. And now let's have the query status. We got the status. Can somebody tell me why would you have a status here? Why do you have a status here? What is this status meaning? No, it's not. It's not the status of the user. It's not the status of the user. It is something else. It is not the user status. It is the ticket status. It is the ticket based on what it is. So you should be able to see the pending. You should be able to see the open. You should be able to see the close. You can define which kind of tickets you want, and you can use that here. Okay. You can say saved user. Who is calling me? Who is calling this function? And how do we get the user from this? Can you tell me? Find one. How do you get the user ID? Here you can do user ID. And why check the undefined? Why it will be undefined? It will be undefined because what if somebody sends it undefined? Then you want all the tickets. So if somebody wants all the tickets irrespective of the status, then this status will be undefined and you don't worry about that anymore. Okay, you don't want to filter on this. Does that make sense, Likit? Yeah. So Now, many of you are very well versed in this. You can just go to request.body.user ID, and that is going to give you the user ID. Simple. So we have user ID. We have the saved user. Now let's look at the saved user. Saved user dot user type is equal to constants dot user types dot admin. If it is admin, you don't worry about it. You let him get all the user. Sorry, it should be user type. Yeah, that is true. It should be user type. If it is admin, do nothing. On the left side. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is also correct. I made two mistakes. This should be user type. No, this should be user types, and that should be user type. Yeah, sure. You have the user type, and here you do nothing. No need to do anything. I'm going to tell you why you don't have to do anything. But I'm just writing it. Why am I writing if I'm not doing anything? Just to make sure it is complete. Okay. Somebody who is reading the code should understand that for admin, you don't have to create a filter. If saved user.user type is actually equal to constants dot user types dot customer. If it is a customer, then you need to get query object dot assigning. Now, if it is a customer, you have to write reporter. The reporter that you are calling should be equal to request dot body dot. I don't like to write it like this. I can also like saved user dot user ID. Okay. What does line number 102 and 103 means? Hariharan, can you tell me? What does this mean? If the user who is calling this request is a customer, what does this line number 103 means? It will make sense in few minutes. First one is admin. Second one is this. I'm updating my query object. I'll show you how this works. You can do saved user dot user ID. Okay. Now, once you have the query, what does the query contains? Query contains the status and the user ID. Okay. And all you need to do is const tickets is equal to await ticket dot find query object. Depending on what query you are sending, whether you are doing it on user ID, whether you are doing it on reporter, or whether you are doing it on assignee, it will filter the queries. Okay, and then you can just do result.status. Result.status 200. I'm not writing try and catch. Query object is empty. No, query object is not empty. Query object is empty in the starting, and then you start filling it up. If the query object is empty, what will come? You will get all the tickets. What happens if you send an empty object in the find function? Hariharan? If the find function sends an empty object, you get all the tickets. Suraj, which part did you not understand about this? I'm creating a query object which I'm going to send. Okay, do you want to unmute yourself, Suraj? Did you join late or something? Send object converter dot ticket response. I have to create another ticket. Oh, network issue. Okay. Ticket list. I have to write something called as ticket list response. Write it in just a few seconds. want to unmute yourself? That will be easier. Or do you want me to just repeat one? Okay, you're not able to. Yeah. Hello, Suraj.
हेलो
Yes, Suraj. What are you not?
सर ये प्रोसेस मुझे सर समझ में नहीं आया सर टिकट्स का
Okay. Okay.
गेटिंग ऑल टिकट
Getting all tickets. Do you understand what is the function asking? What is the use case of this function?
यस सर जो अगर हम रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि सारे टिकट चाहिए तो हमें इस एपीआई से हमें सारे टिकट मिल जाएगा
Okay. And depending on who is requesting it, I have to send different responses.
यूजर्स
If a customer is requesting, I only send the tickets for which are created by that customer.
यस सर
If engineer is requesting, I'm only going to send the tickets which are assigned to that engineer. Does that make sense?
यस सर
And if our admin is requesting, I send all the tickets.
ओके सर
That is one thing. Depending on the user type of who is asking, I send a different response. And how do I get the user type? How do I get this user ID in my
Status.
No, its status is something different. I'll come to status in few minutes. Don't worry about this for a few minutes. Look at this one. Saved user id.request.body.user id. So you're finding a user whose ID is equal to request.body.user id. How do you get this user ID in the body of request? Do you remember?
पेरेंट्स
No, it's not from params. It's not coming from params.
सर रिपीट क्वेश्चन सर अगेन
Okay. I'm getting the user ID of the user in the request body.
ओके
But the user is not sending the user ID ever. You might have
Okay.
seen we don't send user ID directly. We send something else and we infer the user ID from that. What is that thing?
आई डोंट नो सर
Okay. Try to make a guess. How do you identify who is calling the API?
सर पोस्टमैन
Hello? Yes, Suraj. You're audible now. Hello? You're not audible. Yes, Babu, that is one thing I'm going to do just now. Suraj, are you getting an error? Hello? I was not able to hear you.
हेलो
Yes, Suraj.
हाँ सर
So how do you get the user ID?
यूजर आईडी सर जब आप साइन अप करेंगे तब हमें सर यूजर आईडी मिलेगा सर
That we create. But how do you so how do you log into the system? How do you know somebody has logged into the system? How do you know that you have logged in? Somebody who has logged into the system is calling the API.
सर राउटर थ्रू
No, not from router. Router, anyone can call the router. Look, router is this. What part of this router is using to find the user?
आईडी मिलेगा नो आइडिया सर
Okay. So, do you know about JWT tokens that we have been talking about?
यस सर
What do they do?
सर टोकन इज आइडेंटिफाई कि यूजर वैलिड और नॉट
It not only identifies the user is valid or not, it also returns you the user ID.
ओह यस
So if I go to the middleware, auth JWT, here I look at the access token and I infer the user ID from it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So I know exactly who is calling. It's not just if it is one of the authorized users. I know exactly which user is calling my API. Okay.
Okay,
So
sir.
now I have the user ID. Depending on the user ID, I can choose whether it is admin, customer, or engineer. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
By getting the object from the database, I can get the object, get the document for that user from the database, and then I can look at whether it's an admin, customer, or engineer, and I can decide. If it's a admin, I do nothing. If it's a customer, I say I only want to get the tickets for which the reporter is the customer. Is the current person is the reporter. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Whosoever is calling this API should be the reporter. Similarly, if it's an engineer, whosoever is calling if the person who's calling this API is an engineer, I only want to fetch the tickets for which the current the current user is the engineer, assignee engineer. Okay. Does that make sense, Suraj? Are you clear with this question? Clear with this whole code?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, user type and user types the dispenser.
Okay, so when I'm saving constants, I have bunch of user types. Okay. So this user types contains 3 different types. Customer, this is the enum of 3 types: customer, engineer, and admin. So therefore, I have user types here. Okay. Here I'm saying what is the user type of current
sir.
user.
Okay.
So I just use type. Okay. So it's the difference between having 3 different types and one. Okay. Any other questions, Suraj?
No, sir. No, sir.
And now I will ask you a question. And so this is one rule I will follow in this class. Whosoever asks me question, I'll ask 2 more questions to him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell me what is the part of this function which we still have to implement. There is one function that I'm calling and I have not implemented in my code. Which function is that?
Okay, sir. Okay. First, you create the admin, customer, and engineer pending, sir.
Engineer? No, that I don't need to. So else is always engineer. It's either admin, customer, or engineer. So that's not the one. Yes, Ankit, that is true. We get the user ID using the token. Why is there 3 ticks below this function? Hariharan. Yes, Hariharan, it means that if I am sending a status, I am going to use it. If the status is undefined, that means nobody has sent a status. So if the status is not sent, I am going to give you all the tickets. Does that make sense, Hariharan? Either I can give you all the tickets. There's no spelling mistake. There's no spelling mistake. I have not yet implemented this get list response. Ticket list response is not yet implemented. So now I'm going to implement it. Okay. So I have to go to utils. Inside utils, I'll have something called as object converter. And in this object converter, I'll have ticket list response. Exports dot tickets. List. This is the function that I have not created so far, so I'm going to create it now. I hope I was helpful to Suraj. Why didn't we do anything in admin? One didn't get the point there. Because admin should get all the results. It is like, suppose you want to get all the results of a particular search on a website, you don't create a filter for that. You let it be empty. Suppose I'm searching for shoes and I want to search for red shoes. Then I'm going to create a filter which says search for red shoes. Color should be red. But if I don't give a filter, that means I'm going to get all the shoes. Does that make sense, Aradhya? I have used router to create API, or I have used router to create the API or the endpoint. Yes, Ankit. So not gonna write anything there. Yeah, exactly. Uh, that's okay, Ankit. That's great if you have used. Uh, when we write a function with export required function, uh, then we don't need to separate. Yeah. Uh, this is not a module as such. This is just a. I'm not sure. Uh, I'm not sure why we are not writing module here, but yeah. We typically write it like this: ticket exports one. Yes. Uh, let me check. Module dot exports and ticket response. Okay, ticket response, user response is there. If I do exports dot ticket response and user response. Okay, this is the same thing. You can write module or you don't want to write. Both of them are same. You can do exports function name. Yes, exactly. We'll have a ticket result, and this is going to be an array. You can do both. This will be an array, and what I'm going to do is tickets for each ticket. This is looking good. So, let. I don't know why I'm forgetting let. For each ticket, all I'm going to do is ticket, and I'm going to do exports dot result. I'm going to use the previous function directly. So I'll do ticket results dot push exports dot ticket response ticket. Get all the list of tickets. Simple function. I'll put it like this. Why is this crying? Is this crying? Is it return? Should it be return? But this should be in a single line. Okay. Return. Good. Yes, just give me 1 second. And thank you for reminding me today. I think today I spent some time discussing career things. So, let me move this. And let me put this. And put a bracket here. I hate this. Put it back. Yeah. Anyways, can't copy entire return from. That is not something that's something I don't recommend. That is something I don't recommend, Karan. And this should not be a return. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Yeah, it should be a return. Anyways, I just have to come and return ticket result. Karan, I don't like that concept because you will be copying the code again. So that's not a good place. Now I'm going to push the changes here. Why are we writing exports? Because that's what I got. I don't have a good reason for writing export versus module export. So I just saw that, so I wrote it. There's no good reason here. Okay. Yeah. I will be honest about that. Exports is going to, what I'm going to write here is, I think that's why we are not writing module exports here. Yes, exactly. That's the basic idea. Whatever export. So just let me check that. I'm going to give a break once we come back from the break. Yeah, I'm going to come back from the break, Aryan, and then I'll clear out that doubt. Is that okay? Code for point or I'm going to come in this. Once I come back from break, I'll explain to you why I'm not using something like module.export at that place. Okay. I'm going to just stop sharing. See you at 38. Now 9:38. I'll see you. Add a slide. Break till 9:38. No, sir. That's why my doubt anyway. Yeah, sure. Okay. I'll see you at the end of the break. Bye.